Yeah, sure.
Not so long ago, Commander of U.S. Forces in Africa at his confirmation hearing, Thomas Walderhouse, said that he did not know what the overall strategy in Libya was. What is the overall strategy in Libya? It appears that with the Libyan government not being able to fight terrorists on its own, the U.S. will be there for a long time. What is the U.S. doing not to be there for a long time?
Well, let me challenge a couple of the notions in your question. But I'll do it this way. The strategy in Libya continues to be to support the government of national accord and the political process that Prime Minister al-Sarraj is trying to put in place to again, form an effective unity government. And we continue to believe that the best path forward for the Libyan people is a political path and political solutions. And our support to the Prime Minister remains steadfast and sure. The strikes that you're talking about in the last couple of days, and they were airstrikes. There was no U.S. footprint on the ground here. They were airstrikes, and they were done at the specific request of the Prime Minister and the government of national accord to go after Daesh targets inside Libya.
The overall strategy is to support the GNA moving
Correct.
forward. Well, the GNA has been having a very difficult time unifying the country. There's this parallel government in Tobruk, and just a few days ago, the parliament in Tobruk refused to hold a vote of confidence in the GNA. So at a time when the GNA is having a difficult time unifying the country, do you think UN backing and now U.S. military support could give a green light to give a sort of a signal to the GNA to crack down on parts of the country that won't go along with it?
Well, we're not interested in seeing a crackdown, to use your phrase. We're interested in seeing the GNA succeed, and we're going to support the Prime Minister in his efforts to do just that. And to the other parties, that you're talking about, we continue to call on them to support the GNA. The responsibility is on them to support the GNA as the international community is supporting the GNA. That's the path forward here. That's the best thing for all Libyans. And so to the degree that they want to obstruct, delay, obfuscate, and make more difficult the work of the GNA, then we're going to continue to call on them to cease those activities and support the GNA. That's the way forward. This is a political solution that we're seeking, not a military one. But the president has been clear. President Obama has been clear that where and when we're able to degrade and defeat Daesh, we're going to do it. Now, these strikes were done at the specific request of the GNA, and I suspect you'll see that kind of communication and consultation going forward. It wasn't the first time that we did strikes against Daesh targets in Libya, and it may not be the last.
Is the U.S. arming or planning to arm forces under the control of the GNA?
I'm not aware of any such plans.
What about U.S. ground troops? Are there plans to deploy troops in Libya to fight against ISIL?
You have to talk to the Defense Department, but I'm aware of no such plans. Again, we're seeking political solutions in Libya. The strikes you saw yesterday were very much in keeping with the same approach that we've taken in Iraq and that we have tried to take in Syria, which is supporting ground forces, indigenous ground forces, to fight against Daesh. So I'm not aware of any change in those plans at all from a military perspective, and not aware of any effort or desire or intent to put U.S. forces in a combat role on the ground in Libya. This is about supporting indigenous ground forces, as we've done elsewhere.
Quick follow.
They claim that you are acting illegally.
The
Russians.
Well, I've seen the claim. It's just false. There was a legal authority to do this, in terms of our counterterrorism role. And again, I would remind you, Saeed, it was a specific request by the GNA and Prime Minister al-Sarraj to conduct these strikes. Yeah.